I'm Katie Ann Marshall, and I'll tell you how one community came together to honor a fallen deputy. Our award-winning WVU News starts now. But whether you buy a gun to hunt or for your own protection, it is always important to keep the safety on when not in use. But when you do shoot, know your target. As of 2009, immigrants comprised 12.5% of the U.S. population, which is around 38.5 million people. I'm Katie Ann Marshall, and straight ahead, I'll tell you how lawmakers are trying to crack down on reckless driving. In 2011, 173 officers were killed in the line of duty. Sadly, Sergeant Todd May is 1 out of 20 who has died this year. Are you thinking about purchasing a gun? I'm Katie Ann Marshall, and straight ahead, I'll tell you how to get one, but keep yourself safe at the same time. Texting takes the driver's focus off the road for an average of 4.6 seconds, which is enough time to travel the length of a football field going 55 miles per hour. I'm Katie Ann Marshall, and straight ahead, I'll tell you how some immigrants found the true meaning of freedom. With a unanimous vote, the Monongalia County Commissioners have approved to purchase a memorial plaque for Sergeant Todd May and will display it in the Sheriff's Department. I have the story on the events surrounding his death. More than 1,000 people packed the Chestnut Ridge Church for the funeral service of fallen Monongalia County Sheriff's Deputy Todd May. Over 200 agencies came out in support.
We've had a huge outpouring of support from emergency services and law enforcement agencies across the nation. And the family has been very grateful this morning to see such a large turnout to honor their son and their friend, Todd May.
The procession was over 7 miles long, and many citizens lined the streets to watch and pay their respects. Many people stood holding American flags and their hands over their hearts. In 2011, 173 officers were killed in the line of duty. Sadly, Sergeant Todd May is 1 out of 20 who has died this year. Sergeant Todd May was killed on February 18th after trying to stop a highway speed chase on I-79 North. May used his car as a roadblock, but the driver didn't stop, ramming into his cruiser. Monongalia County Sheriff's Department says the deputies took all the right procedures that day.
You know, in this situation, we've evaluated what the officers did, went over the 911 tapes and everything, and what they did in this particular chase, they did correctly. They announced the chase, they kept everybody informed of location, direction, speed, things like that. They did everything according to our policy and procedures.
In law enforcement, there are many factors considered when making decisions.
You know, we go out every day knowing that there's a possibility that that could happen. It's not anything that is easy to live with. It's not something that's easy to deal with, but those are things that we do, that our families know that we do. And in this instance, I really believe that had this not been Sergeant May that was the one that was killed, that somebody else may very well have been.
Police say when involved in a high-speed chase, if a person has already committed a felony, a pursuit is always called for. Officers of the Monongalia County Sheriff's Department have put a black stripe across their badges in remembrance of Sergeant Todd May. The department says it's a reminder of the ultimate sacrifice, and they will not be taking it off anytime soon. Last June, almost 200 billion text messages were sent or received in the U.S. Researchers say driving while using a cell phone reduces the amount of brain activity associated with driving by 37%. I talked to a lawmaker who says they are making traffic safety a top priority. The West Virginia Senate has approved a bill that will allow police to ticket drivers for texting or talking on their cell phones while driving. It was passed with a unanimous vote and has now been sent to the House. Sergeant Branham of the West Virginia State Police thinks passing a bill like this is a long time coming.
I think the majority consensus vote, especially among law enforcement officers, is this bill should pass. That's just based on all the traffic crashes that we respond to. Probably the majority of the crashes are related to some sort of distracted driving, whether it be talking on a phone or texting.
Texting takes the driver's focus off the road for an average of 4.6 seconds, which is enough time to travel the length of a football field going 55 miles per hour. WVU student Ryan Kendra was hit on his way home from school by a girl who was texting and driving.
It was pretty surreal. I mean, honestly, I just remember flipping over twice, and I woke up, I kind of like blacked out, and my mom was underneath me. My sister was, crying hysterically.
These are pictures of the Kendra's family's car. And while no one died in this car wreck, in 2009, officials say nearly 6,000 people were killed in crashes involving distracted driving, and around 450,000 people were injured.
I'm lucky to be alive, but I mean, the next person in that situation, might not be as fortunate.
You are 23 times more likely to crash when text messaging. In this bill, texting while driving will be a primary offense, meaning police can stop you solely on texting, while talking on a cell phone will be a secondary offense. Similar legislation was killed last year after the Senate and the House could not agree on the wording of the bill. But lawmakers believe that this year, the revised texting bill will pass in the House. The top 2 reasons to purchase a firearm are safety and sport. I spoke to an official who explains the process of legally buying a gun and using it properly. Gun ownership in the United States is at its highest since 1993. And with crime rates on the rise, Jared Detweiler bought his gun for his own protection.
I mean, I'm a lawyer. I mean, I see a lot of, in the industry, I see a lot of kooks, I guess. So, I feel safer, I guess, having a gun at my nightstand.
Hunting is another reason why people purchase guns. And with the Mountain State in the top 5 for hunting participation, Megan Thompson says it's her right to enjoy her favorite sport with her family.
I own a gun because I like to hunt, and because my family we've all owned guns all of our lives, and they all also like to hunt.
Marciller's gun shop manager Dave Helms says the process of purchasing a gun in West Virginia is fairly simple.
You have to be a West Virginia resident, be age 21 or over, no criminal activity, felonies, domestic violence, misdemeanors. Once you clear the background check, it's just a matter of purchasing the gun you want.
But whether you buy a gun to hunt or for your own protection, it is always important to keep the safety on when not in use. But when you do shoot, know your target. Nearly 1,000 people are killed each year in the U.S. through accidental shootings, and around 16,000 people are injured. According to the American Rifle Association, educating gun owners is the real solution. If you're interested in gun safety classes, you can contact Marcillers. Those classes are held one day each month, and the cost is $50. You can visit their Facebook page. The right to vote is a freedom that many of us as American citizens may take for granted, but I spoke with one group of people who have been waiting for that right their entire lives. 72 immigrants from 32 countries gathered for a long-awaited day to finally become an American citizen. The WVU College of Law hosted a U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services naturalization ceremony for the first time in WVU history.
Citizenship, it really is the pinnacle for someone who is an immigrant in the United States. It is the final step. It is the thing that most people who come to live in the United States, they live for. So that's why it's such an important and exciting thing to be able to do, and to be able to actually make somebody a citizen. It's just amazing.
It was an emotional day. Family and friends joined their loved ones in support. Many tears fell and hugs were given after it was announced that they were now finally citizens of the U.S. As of 2009, immigrants comprised 12.5% of the U.S. population, which is around 38.5 million people. WVU student Paula Pacurari joined her father at the ceremony. They are originally from Romania and came here in 1998. She went through this whole process with him and has been waiting 11 years for this day to come.
It's a huge sense of relief to finally be able to vote, to finally be able to, I guess, be a part of America.
And Paula says she is most excited about being able to vote for the first time.
Like, finally do what everyone's been talking about, to finally, I mean, I've been informing myself, but to finally have my vote count for something, to be a factor in the decision of who our next president is.
Freedom of speech and the freedom to contribute to society through the election process, two running themes for today's events.
Freedom and job. I'll be able to do what I want to do, say what I want to say, you know, no pressure, you know, because we are in the country of free, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. Yes, I'm excited so I can vote now.
Faith. And allegiance to the same.
Former WVU President David Hardesty was the keynote speaker. His remarks encouraged the candidates to both enjoy their new citizenship and invest their hearts and minds in the country. The new American citizens left the courtroom excited to exercise their new right to vote. The United States Citizenship and Immigration Services teaches the citizens how to register. For more information, you can visit the website at the bottom of your screen. You may not know that meth abuse is happening right here in Morgantown. Why? Because methamphetamines are found in some cold medications, and West Virginia state legislatures are trying to crack down on the problem. West Virginia state legislatures are proposing a bill that will have you making a trip to your doctor's office in order to get common nasal decongestant drugs.
I think the public has to know, okay, that there are consequences to readily available pseudoephedrine, because meth labs, and one of the things that's pointed out in the bill is that there are toxic wastes.
Currently, pseudoephedrine products are placed behind the counter in pharmacies, and pharmacists must register purchases in a logbook. Still, experts say methamphetamine manufacturing has increased over 50% in West Virginia over the last year. Methamphetamine can be made from a common nasal decongestant such as Sudafed. Since 2003, an average of 10% of U.S. high school students say they have used meth, while the state of West Virginia's average is at an alarming 34%. Morgantown resident Mike Whitten doesn't see how the bill will change anything.
It may decrease meth use, but it's not going to decrease drug use. Somebody's going to find something else that's cheaper and easier. It's just simple logistics.
Lawmakers hope that by decreasing the accessibility of such a key ingredient to meth, the number of addicts and meth labs will decrease in the state. A similar bill was proposed before and passed in the House but was defeated in the Senate. The decision of whether you have to visit a doctor for cold medicine will be decided by March 19th.